Hey there, and welcome to Rob's Custom Wood Shop. My name's Rob, and today I'm going to be solving a problem that's been bugging me for years. Have you ever had one of those garbage cans that sits in the middle of your floor, and no matter what you do, it is always in your way? Well, I have such a garbage can, and it is always in my way. Not again. And then, an idea. I'll put it under the sink. No, it's too big to fit under there. Well, what about there? It looks promising. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Make it a hideaway on a rollout. I don't really have a plan for this build, so I'll just take a few quick measurements of the garbage can and the rolling tray and finalize the idea I have floating around in my head. I have a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of 3/4 inch birch I'm pretty sure I can build this whole thing out of. At the table saw, I break down my plywood into a more manageable piece. In order to trim off the factory edge, I make my first cut a 1/2 inch wider than needed. Then I reset the fence and cut it to final width, eliminating the factory edge. Now, after taking a bit of time to get this garbage can centered on the top, I hold it with one hand and then I trace around it. And because it would be too easy to have used a compass, I opted to use a piece of 1/2 inch stock as a spacer to trace around my original line to get me my correct cut line. Now, I'm the kind of guy who has problems making straight lines with rulers, but I managed. Now, after using a drill to make a pilot hole for the jigsaw, I carefully cut along my line, making sure to flip the piece over and re-secure it so I don't accidentally cut into my assembly table. Once the cut is finished, I remove the clamps, take the piece over to the garbage can to test the finish. It's not too tight, but not too loose. Since I know the fit is good, I take the piece over to the router table and I give all the edges on both sides a 1/4 inch round over. Next, I use the sander to smoothen out all the surfaces and edges of this whole piece. Once I finish the job everybody loves to do, it's time to start making my upright supports using birch plywood. My upright supports are going to be 2x2 L-shaped. To accomplish this, I cut 4 strips at 1.25 inches and then 4 strips at 2 inches. Since I'm using 3/4 inch, it becomes a 2x2 L. And then I cut them to length using the crosscut sled. First I square up one edge. Next I install a stop block. And then I cut all 8 pieces to the exact same length. Once cut, I bring the pieces over to my pocket hole jig. I drill pocket holes into the 1.25 inch strips, leaving about 4 inch spacing between each one. Once I finished that, I drilled one pocket hole into each end of every strip to attach them to the base and to the top. Now, to assemble the L-shape uprights, I just use glue and some clamps to hold the pieces in place while I install the pocket hole screws. And once that's done, it's just rinse and repeat for the next 3 uprights. Now, this next step was kind of a pain. It's one of those situations that a third hand would have been nice. But using one hand, I held the upright, held the base, and I held a speed square to keep it all square while I screwed it together with the other hand. Attaching the top did go a lot smoother though. I just used a spacer instead of the speed square. After I install the final screw, I stand it up and check it, and it's nice and solid. And now for the last step, installing a pull handle on the underside of the top, just using some glue and brads. And then, since it's still a little bit chilly out, I take it in, give it a coat of primer and 2 coats of white paint, and it's ready for installation. And now, the moment of truth, the first test. Well, at least the first test with a garbage can in it. And yes, I am very happy with the result. Do you have any questions, tips, tricks, or suggestions on this project? Leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, please hammer that thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe and ring that little notification bell so you never miss when I put out new content. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next project.